Hello, dear students. Today we are going to learn chapter number 2, The Thief's Story. Okay, written by Ruskin Bond. Ruskin Bond is an Indian author and he writes short stories. Dear students, this story is about two men, Anil and Hari Singh. Anil is an honest man while Hari Singh is a thief. A young boy makes friends with Anil. A young boy means the thief. The thief befriends with Anil. Anil trusts him completely and employs him. Anil believes him fully and then employs him means he gives him work. Does the boy betray his trust? Now here is the question. Does the thief betray means deceive his trust? Okay, so let us find out. I was still a thief when I met Anil. Dear student, here I is the thief as the thief is the narrator of this story. And he says that when he met Anil, he was still a thief. And though only 15, it means he was 15 years old, I was an experienced. An experienced means he was an experienced thief and fairly successful hand. And he always got success in robbing other people. Anil was watching a wrestling match. When the thief met Anil, Anil was watching a wrestling match. Wrestling match means a match which is played between two people. They fight with each other and then they threw each other to the ground. He was about 25, a tall, lean fellow. The thief says that Anil was 25 years old. He was tall and also lean. Lean means thin. And he looked easygoing. And it seemed that his life was going very easy. Kind and simple enough for my purpose. He was very kind hearted and also a simple man. And the thief thought that he was enough for my purpose. My purpose means for robbing Anil. I hadn't had much luck of late and thought I might be able to get into the young man's confidence. Here he means to say that whenever he delays in, stealing money from other people, he hadn't had much luck. Okay, and so he wanted to win the confidence of Anil very quickly. Okay, you look a bit of wrestler yourself. Now the thief says to Anil, you look a bit of wrestler. A little flattery helps in making friends because the thief believes that a false praise, flattery means a false praise, helps in making friends and he wanted to make friends with Anil. So do you, he replied. Now Anil replies that the thief is also looking a bit of a wrestler, which put me off for a moment because at that time I was rather thin. But the thief says that these things put me off. Now, put somebody off is a phrasal verb which means the thief cancelled this his thought. And what was his thought? To say about Anil that Anil was looking like a wrestler. Because Anil also replies him that he was also looking like a wrestler and the thief was himself a thin boy. Well, I said modestly. Modestly means politely. I do wrestle a bit. The thief lied that he do wrestle a bit. Sorry, he does wrestle a bit. What's your name? Hari Singh. Now Anil asked him what his name was, and the thief replied, Hari Singh. It was a lie because he took a new name every month. He changes his name every month. Why? In order to escape from the police and also from his former employers. Former means his ex-employers. After this introduction, Anil talked about the well-oiled wrestlers. After this short introduction, Anil started talking about the well-oiled means strong wrestlers who were grunting. Grunting means making a slow guttural sound, lifting and throwing each other about. And they were lifting each other, they were throwing each other. I didn't have much to say, and the thief hadn't much to say because Anil walked away. So the thief followed Anil. It means Anil was watching that wrestling match somewhere. Okay. Hello again, he said. Now here he means Anil. Anil said hello. I gave him my most appealing smile. On hearing this, the thief smiled, and this was an attractive smile. I want to work for you. The thief said to Anil that he wanted to work for him. I said, means the thief said, but I can't pay you. But Anil replied that he couldn't pay him. Okay? I thought that over a minute. Now the thief thought for a minute. Perhaps I had misjudged my man, because he thought that he has taken wrong man to be robbed. I asked, can you feed me? Then again the thief asked Anil if he could feed him. Can you cook? Anil asked a question. If he could cook. I can cook. I lied again. The thief lied again that he could cook. If you can cook, then maybe I can feed you. Then Anil said that if he could cook, then he might be with Anil. Okay? He took me to his room over the Jumna sweet shop and told me I could sleep on the balcony. After that, Anil took the thief along with him to his room, which was situated at Jumna sweet shop, and told him to sleep on the balcony. But the meal I cooked that night must have been terrible, because Anil gave it to a stray dog and told me to be off. That night the thief cooked meal means food for Anil, but it was so bad that Anil gave it to a stray dog, to the street dog, and told the thief to be off. To be off means to go away. But I just hung around. Now, dear students, hung around is a phrasal verb, which means he stayed there only at Anil's room, smiling in my most appealing way. Again, the thief smiled in an attractive manner, and he couldn't help laughing. Then Anil burst into laughter. Later, he patted me on the head and said, never mind, he would teach me to cook. Later, Anil patted means he touched his back gently and said, he will teach him cooking. He also taught me to write my name and said he would soon teach me to write whole sentences and to add numbers. Dear students, Anil was so kind hearted that he told the thief that he will teach him to write his name and also whole sentences. On the other hand, he will teach him to add numbers. I was grateful. I knew that once I could write like an educated man, there would be no limit to what I could achieve. Now the thief was so happy. He was grateful to Anil, and grateful means thankful. He knew that once he could write like an educated man, he could earn his money. It was quite pleasant working for Anil. Now Thief thought that it was good to work with Anil. I made the tea in the morning and then would take my time buying the day's supplies, usually making a profit of about a rupee a day. From then onwards, the thief started making morning tea for Anil and also buying the groceries item from the market for him. And he used to make a rupee profit also in a day. I think he knew I made a little money this way, but he didn't seem to mind. Anil knew this thing that the thief is saving 1 rupee per day for himself, but he never mind. Okay, means Anil never paid attention towards this thing. Now, dear students, here is a picture of Anil and the thief. Both are sitting and Anil is teaching the thief. Anil made money by fits and start. Fits and starts means occasionally, because there was no regular source of income for Anil. He would borrow 1 week, lend the next week, because he would borrow the money 1 week from his friends and next week he would give the money back. He kept worrying about his next check, but as soon as it arrived, he would go out and celebrate. Also, the thief tells us that Anil used to be worried about his next payment, and as soon as he gets it, he used to go out to celebrate his happiness. It seems he wrote for magazines. Now, the thief here, he just assumes that Anil wrote for magazines, a queer way to make a living, because it was a queer. Queer means a strange way to make a living, means to earn money. So he thought maybe he writes for magazines. One evening he came home with a small bundle of notes saying he had just sold a book to a publisher. At night I saw him tuck the money under the mattress. Now the thief tells us that One evening, Anil came with a bundle of money and he put the money under the mattress. I had been working for Anil for almost a month. Now, the thief has passed a month with Anil. Apart from cheating on the shopping, means that he used to earn 1 rupee in a day, had not done anything in my line of work. So the thief says that only he uh, cheated Anil this way by keeping 1 rupee per day whenever he went for buying things. And besides that, except that, he didn't do anything in his line of work. And what was his line? His line was stealing money. I had every opportunity for doing so, though he had every possible opportunity for stealing money. Anil had given me a key to the door because Anil had given him the key of his door and I could come and go as I pleased. So he could go outside and also come back as he wished. He was the most trusting person I had ever met. Now, the thief tells us the most important thing that Anil was the most trusting person he had ever met in his life. And that is why it was so difficult to rob him because Anil was an honest man, a loyal man, so it was difficult for Hari Singh to rob him. It's easy to rob a greedy man because he can afford to be robbed. But it's difficult to rob a careless man. Now, dear student, this is a great thing that the thief tells us here that to rob a greedy man is easy, an easy task, but it is difficult to rob a man who is careless, who is an honest man. Sometimes he doesn't even notice he has been robbed, and that takes all the pleasure out of the work. The thief says that because uh, at times, what happens? The man who is not greedy, who is careless, did not notice that he had been robbed, and it takes all the pleasure of a thief's work. Okay, well, it's time I did some real work. I told myself I'm out of practice. Now, the thief tells us here that it was the time for him to do his work, his own business, that was stealing things, because he thinks that he is now out of practice because he had not uh, stolen anything for a month. So he thinks that he will be out of his practice. And what kind of practice? That small practice of stealing money. And if I don't get the money, he will only waste it on his friends. After all, he doesn't even pay me. The thief thinks that if he will not take his money, he will only waste that money on his friends because he knew that whenever he gets money, he goes outside and enjoys with his friends. And also, he tells us that Anil hadn't paid him his salary for that month. So he decided to rob Anil. Okay. Now, dear students, that's all for today. Rest of the things we will discuss in our next class. Thank you.